Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Grop, this is Grop Life. And today we are going to be putting a new exhaust on my all new 2025 Harley-Davidson Road Glide, because it is still sitting with the stock slip-ons and not making very much noise going down the road. And if you have a Harley-Davidson, it's got to sound like a Harley. So let's hop into what I've got and get ready for the install. On my previous Road Glide, I installed the S&S G&X slip-ons on it, and I have a video that I'll link somewhere around here or down in the description below. Loved those slip-ons. Got compliments on them everywhere I went. People were always asking what exhaust I was running. And they had a great sound because you could be going down the highway and it not be droning your ears out, but when you wanted to open it up, it would scream. So this time I decided not to go the full G&X route. Instead, I got a much smaller box this time with the S&S Swindler kit with a G&X 4.5 inch muffler slip-on it. This kit allows you to keep your stock header, which is a 2-into-1 header from the factory, remove your crossover pipe and plug it, and remove your left side slip-on to where now you have a 2-into-1 exhaust. Essentially a 2-into-1 exhaust on a budget, if you will, because this kit comes in just under $400. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hop in and start installing this on my Road Glide. And come on. Now, of course, before we start taking things off of the bike, let's go ahead and open this up and make sure everything is in the box and show y'all what's inside. First off, you do have your plug for your crossover pipe and the clamp for your new slip-on. And tucked in the box is the new slip-on, which is still packaged up. I can see that it is chrome, so I'm just gonna leave it packaged like this until it's ready to go on the bike. And we'll just sit here and leave it up here on the counter. And yep, that's all that's in the box. The first thing you want to do on the bike is get the saddlebags off. All right, next I'm going to remove the high side slip-on first. I'm going to start with the connection from the slip-on to the header using a 5/8 socket. Right up under here. Then I'm going to move over to the two 1/2-inch bolts that are holding the slip-on up to the bag bracket. Now for the fun part of wiggling this slip-on off. It's also a good idea to go ahead and grab a 5/16 and go ahead and loosen this heat shield and give you a little bit more play when wiggling it off. And it's just got two little clamps under there to hold it on. And basically, you just have to wiggle them. I found a hammer. Let's see if this helps. Ah, got it. I am going to see if I can get this crossover pipe disconnected. Yep, the crossover clamp is a 9/16. Also, when you are taking the crossover clamp, there is a bracket right, let's see, right here. Gotta remove this bracket as well. And then hopefully the crossover pipe will come off fairly easy, and we'll take it and the other slip-on off. And that bracket underneath is also a 1/2-inch socket. It's off. Seems like the crossover is coming off a lot easier. Going to need to now move over to the other side and pull the pull the slip-on and the crossover off together. So let's move over there. Again, it's a 1/2-inch socket to take the slip-ons off of the bag brackets. I'll carefully wiggle it off. It don't want to come off. Ah! Success! More for the junkyard. All right, now that we have the stock slip-ons and the crossover pipe off, let's put the S&S plug-in to cover up the hole from the header over to the crossover pipe, and then we will go and grab the slip-on and put it on and start wrapping all this up. Now S&S does provide a clamp, but it uses an Allen key to put it on rather than a socket. And I prefer the stock clamps when it comes to the exhaust on these bikes. Because previously on my other Road Glide, the S&S clamp stripped out and that became a problem. So I'm using the standard stock Harley clamp because this bike barely has any miles on it. Now that we've got the plug on, let's go ahead and grab the slip-on, put it on here, and then get the saddlebags back on and see how this sounds. Now I am going to put some gloves on in order to open up this slip-on and put it on the bike. That way I avoid getting any oil on it so that I don't burn in any fingerprints the first time that I run this bike, and test out the pipes because it's going to get hot and I don't want my fingerprints permanently burned into it. So let's get into it. And of course, S&S sticker that I got to put up somewhere in here. And it does come with the baffle pre-installed, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab a couple tools and get that baffle out before we put it on the motorcycle, because I want this thing to be loud, but isn't it pretty? Got what I needed. Now let's go ahead and pull this baffle out before we install the slip-on. And yeah, this is just a 5/32 hex And just like that, the baffle is out and in the trash. Alright, you just need it slightly snug. Now, time to put this GNX on the Harley. So let's get this slip-on on. Slip-on on. Say that a bunch of times fast. And back to the wiggle game. I found some WD-40. Let's spray this on here and see if it can make this go on a little bit easier. Don't need a lot of it. You just kind of want to spray it on the edge and let it work in. That's not going to smell good when I start this thing up. Yeah, that helps a lot. It's going on a whole lot quicker. I should have started with the WD-40. Now it's on there, let's tighten up the clamp and then put the bolts back in on top of the slip-on to hold it to the bag bracket. Put the bags on and fire it up. Now, don't forget to wipe it down, spray some water or some chrome cleaner on it, and just give it a quick wipe down with microfiber because I did get some of the oil from the WD-40 on my hands and then on the gloves and then on the pipe. Also, there's a nice, very satisfying sticker to pull off. Alright, it's the next day. The sun went down on me while doing the install, but the pipe is on the bike, so let's pull her out and take her for a ride and see how she sounds. All right, after a nice ride to break in this pipe, the S&S Swindler with the GNX slip-on sounds incredible. It's got a nice low-end bark to it. It's not overly loud, and it's definitely not quiet. When you squeeze that throttle and get into it, it barks. So I am very happy with this purchase. And yes, I did purchase this. This isn't a sponsored video. S&S doesn't know I'm making the video. They're not involved in any way, though. If you do work for S&S and you'd like to work with me, I'd love that. Hit me up. I've got my info down in the description and everything's there in my bio. So again, $400 well spent on the S&S Swindler kit. I am super happy with it. The bike sounds alive and open now, and it's got the 2-in-1 with a factory header. It's great bang for your buck, and it gives me the GNX sound that I like. And I got to go back and listen to some comparison videos and see, or my previous videos, and compare to see which is louder. I feel like this is louder than having the 2, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. After that ride, it sounds great. I'm really happy to have the actual like Harley sound and the old school Harley sound now. So if you've enjoyed this video, if it's brought you any value, please hit that like button down below, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when I release videos in the future, because there are going to be plenty of videos coming out featuring this bike and me back on the road doing trips and whatnot. So thank you again for tuning in. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Till the next one, ride safe, and I'll talk to you then.